Ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in inviting on stage our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Devu Singh Chauhan Ji, the Honorable Minister of State for Communications, Government of India. May I invite you, sir, to kindly grace the stage, requesting Shri Bharat Bhatia Ji to escort the Honorable Minister onto the stage. Also inviting our guest of honor, Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services, Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunications, to kindly join us. Inviting Mr. Masanori Kondo, Secretary General, Asia Pacific Telecommunity, to kindly grace the stage with his presence. He would be joining us shortly. Inviting Shri Sanjeev Sharma, DDG and OSD, to the Honorable Minister of State for Communications, to kindly grace the stage. Inviting Mr. Alan Norman, Director Public Policy, Meta. A warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Dr. Hemang Shah, Director of Engineering, Qualcomm India Private Limited, and Shri N.K. Goel, Vice Chair, IFI, to kindly grace the stage. Namaskar and good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Devu Singh Chauhan, Honorable Minister of State for Communications, Government of India. Our guest of honor, Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services, Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunication. Eminent dignitaries on the dais, special invitees, senior officials, distinguished delegates, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. I have the proud privilege in welcoming you all to the second India Spectrum Management Conference, which is being organized by ITU APT Foundation of India, IAFI, and the event is managed by Bharat Exhibitions. And ladies and gentlemen, the honorable presence of such eminent dignitaries is a source of inspiration for all of us. And I would now request Ms. Arush Qureshi, General Manager IAFI, to do the honors of welcoming our honorable chief guest, the honorable minister, with a floral bouquet. A very warm welcome to you, sir, and we are indeed grateful for your honorable presence. Thank you, Ms. Arush, for doing the honors. And ladies and gentlemen, as is customary, we begin every auspicious occasion by lighting the ceremonial lamp and invoking the gods and goddesses, seeking their blessings to guide us for all our endeavors, for the success of all our endeavors. I would now request the Honorable Minister and dignitaries on the stage to kindly do the honors of lighting the ceremonial lamp and formally inaugurating today's event.
महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा.
And let's put our hands together on the ceremonial inauguration of the second India Spectrum Management Conference.
Sarvakarishu sarvada.
After the Honorable Chief Guest and Guest of Honor, doing the honors, Mr. Kondo, Secretary General, Asia Pacific Telecommunity, Mr. Alan Norman. Ladies and gentlemen, it is said that the diya when lit emits light, which is the source of energy. And each wick being lit and passed from one to another symbolizes the sharing of knowledge. Each wick being lit today is a prayer for global peace and solidarity. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite Shri Bharat Bhatia Ji, President IAFI, to kindly begin the proceedings of this session with his welcome address.
Good morning and thank you. It's my honor and privilege and pleasure to welcome Shri Devu Singh Chauhan Ji, Honorable Minister of State for Communications. He has been a great inspiration for us for a long time. Actually, we met him in Romania, and there he was a driving force where India won the election by a landslide victory. And I'm also very happy to say that Uh, and he is coming from Gujarat. I'm sure tomorrow the results will be very good. So congratulations to you, sir. I'm also very happy to welcome member services and other dignitaries. Sanjay Sharma ji is there. Our special guest, Mr. Masanori Kondo, he is the Secretary General of the APT. Mr. Alan Aman, Mr. Hemang Shah from Qualcomm, and he's been driving a lot of startups in India, so very good to see you. And Mr. N.K. Goel, President of TIMA and our Vice. It's really great today to see that IAFI, which has been working in India for 20 years, today is come to this level that we are having a huge, important issue such as spectrum, for 5G, 6G, Wi-Fi, satellites, private LTE. These are the areas that will bring manufacturing into the country, that will bring the innovation into the country, that will bring R&D into the country. So this is something, it has been my dream for a long time, at least to get all the stakeholders together to talk about this very important topic of how the spectrum can be utilized in nation building, how we can use innovation, how we can use R&D to make India as one of the highest ranking technology power in the world. So I'm so pleased to have Honorable Minister here with us and remembering my days in Romania with him, and welcome all our participants. So I'll take 1 minute only. I know the time is very precious. Just to introduce some of the things we are doing in the ITU-APT Foundation of India. Next. So IFI is a non-political, non-aligned, non-profit registered bodies. Keep it there. Next, yeah. We are a non-partisan. We are not aligned with either the mobile industry or the satellite industry or the Wi-Fi industry. We are actually equal for everybody. We bring a common view for all the sectors. For us, 5G is very important, 6G is very important. For us, Wi-Fi is also very important. For us, satellites are also very important. For us, private LTE or the industrial LTE is also very important. Yeah, stop. We are an affiliate member of APT. Kondo-san is here as the head of APT and Secretary General. What are you raised? Okay. Next, yeah, stop it. We are also a regional and international organization recognized by the ITU. We are also a sector member of all the 3 sectors of ITU, ITU D, ITU R, ITU T, and we work very closely with all of them. We have 142 members. Most of them are people from the Department of Telecom who are very much contributing to this cause. We have corporate members. In the last 1 year, we have organized 16 events like this, just to share knowledge and make them very important areas such as Wi-Fi, such as 5G, such as 6G, particularly on the vision of 6G. A lot of work has been done in our association. We have sent delegation to over 30 ITU meetings, including the plenipotentiary, including WTDC in Kigali, including WTSA in Geneva, including 5D meetings, including APT meetings in Bangkok and other places. We have submitted, and just last 1 year, 42 contributions to the ITU on various spectrum matters, including vehicle communications, including automated driving, including 6G vision, and so many other things. We have submitted 33 contributions to the APT in various wireless areas, and also to DOT on various things, including on the Draft Telecom Act. We have almost 30 media stories in the last 1 year, which we have been covered. And our website has been redesigned. We also responded to the video TRI consultation and made presentations to it. So it's a very quick review. I won't make take any time, but I wanted to welcome you and all our participants. So with that, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for those warm words of welcome and for the brief introduction of IAFI and the Second India Spectrum Management Conference. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor that today's event is graced by the Honorable Minister of State for Communications as our Honorable Chief Guest. And I have the proud privilege now in inviting the Honorable Minister to kindly do the honors of addressing the August House present here. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest for his address.
गुड मॉर्निंग। आज के इस ITU APT कॉन्फ्रेंस में मंचासीन मिस्टर मसनरी कोंडो सेक्रेटरी जनरल APT, मिस्टर एलन नॉर्मन डायरेक्टर पब्लिक पॉलिसी मेटा, डॉक्टर हेमंत शाह डायरेक्टर ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग क्वालकॉम इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, डॉक्टर महेश शुक्ला मेंबर सर्विस DOT, मिस्टर भरत भाटिया, मिस्टर NK गोयल, मिस्टर संजीव शर्मा और मेरे सामने सन्मुख उपस्थित आप सब। कल से ये कॉन्फ्रेंस चल रहा है और आज ये सेकंड डे है। मैं इस कॉन्फ्रेंस को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं और ऐसी कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए मिस्टर भरत भाटिया और सारी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। जैसे कि हम सब जानते हैं, इसी साल 1 अक्टूबर को हमारे यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय मोदी जी के कर कमलों से हमारे यहाँ 5G का शुभारंभ हुआ है और वो भी रिकॉर्ड टाइम में और रिकॉर्ड प्राइस पे हुआ है। और इसके पीछे अगर किसी की मेहनत है तो हमारे DOT के सारे अधिकारी जो एक पॉजिटिव अप्रोच के साथ और कड़ी मेहनत करके उन्होंने जो रिफॉर्म्स लाए, और ये रिफॉर्म्स एक तरीके से बड़ा मुश्किल था क्योंकि मैं उसमें इन्वॉल्व था, इसीलिए मुझे बराबर याद है। करीब 42 डेज़ के रिकॉर्ड टाइम में हमने ये ऑक्शन किया है, वो भी भारत के इतिहास में पहली बार 1.5 लाख करोड़ का 5G स्पेक्ट्रम ऑक्शन हुआ है। इसके पीछे अगर किसी का सबसे ज़्यादा योगदान हो और अहम भूमिका हो तो हमारे ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर के नेतृत्व में जो सरकार चलती है उसकी कार्य संस्कृति है नेशन फर्स्ट। हम हमेशा कोई भी काम करते हैं तो देश के लिए पहले सोचते हैं। तो ये जो नेशन फर्स्ट वाली हमारी कार्य संस्कृति है, इसके चलते हमने ये काम कर पाए हैं। हम ये सब जानते हैं कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का ये आग्रह रहा है कि आत्मनिर्भर भारत हो, और आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करते हैं तब पूरे विश्व में भारत का एक नया स्वरूप आज देश के दुनिया के सामने है। हमने 4G इंडिजिनस बनाया, 5G भी इंडिजिनस बनाए हैं और पूरा इकोसिस्टम 5G का आज हमने इतनी जल्दी बनाया है, जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का आग्रह भी रहा है कि हमारा जो डिजिटल डिवाइड है वो बहुत जल्दी कम होना चाहिए। जो हमारी फिलॉसफी रही है, हम हमेशा अंत्योदय की बात करते हैं, नो वन लेफ्ट बिहाइंड। अगर जब हम ये बात करते हैं तो जो पिरामिड के निचले स्तर पे है, अंतिम स्तर पे जो आदमी बैठा है, गांव के दूर दूर अंचल में जो इंसान बैठा है, जो हमारा सिटीजन बैठा है, उसके लिए हमें DOT की हेल्प से बैंकिंग फॉर ऑल पहुंचाना है, इंश्योरेंस फॉर ऑल पहुंचाना है, हर जो सेवाएं जो आज सिटी में मिलती हैं वो सारी सेवाएं हम उस गांव गरीब के घर तक पहुंचाना चाहते हैं। और वो इसीलिए हमने हमारी फिलोसॉफी के हिसाब से ये जो 5G का स्पेक्ट्रम या 5G का जो एक तरीके से नेचुरल रिसोर्स है उसका मैक्सिमम यूटिलाइजेशन कैसे हो, क्योंकि ये बहुत बड़ा क्रिटिकल मैनेजमेंट भी होता है और लिमिटेड रिसोर्स भी होते हैं। तो ये ऐसी कॉन्फ्रेंस हमें बहुत हेल्प करेंगी, जो 5G कॉन्फ्रेंस, जो 5G मैनेजमेंट, 5G स्पेक्ट्रम मैनेजमेंट में केवल भारत को नहीं, आपकी ये कॉन्फ्रेंस ये अगले साल जब WRC होता है, वर्ल्ड रेडियो कम्युनिकेशन 23 होगा, उसमें भी आपका इनपुट बहुत बड़ा योगदान देगा जो आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस में हम कर रहे हैं। क्योंकि ये इनपुट से पूरा वर्ल्ड स्पेक्ट्रम मैनेजमेंट जो एक लिमिटेड रिसोर्स है उसका कैसा मैक्सिमम यूटिलाइजेशन किया जाए, और भारत जैसे देश में तो उसका बहुत बड़ा रोल होगा। हम चाहते हैं कि आप स्टार्टअप के साथ भी मिलकर काम करें, 5G यूज केसेस बनाएं जो एग्रीकल्चर में काम आए, वो हेल्थ सेक्टर में काम आए, एजुकेशन में काम आए, लॉजिस्टिक, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में, हर ऐसा कोई सेक्टर बाकी ना हो जहां 5G से हम इस देश को, जब 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की बात करते हैं तो सबसे ज्यादा अगर कोई रोल निभा सकता है तो हमारा 5G स्पेक्ट्रम मैनेजमेंट करेगा, जो आने वाले इस देश के लिए बहुत बड़ा उपयोगी होगा। तो मैं ऐसी कॉन्फ्रेंस में आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं और शुभकामनाएं देता हूं कि बहुत जल्दी आपकी इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में जो ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग होगा, जो विचार विमर्श होगा, जो चर्चा होगी, वो इस देश में देश के हित के लिए काम आएगी। बहुत बहुत शुभकामना।
हार्दिक धन्यवाद। माननीय मंत्री महोदय जी का हार्दिक धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे कि आपने अपने कीमती समय में से वक्त निकाला और यहाँ उपस्थित हुए और आपके प्रेरणात्मक संदेश के साथ सभी का मार्गदर्शन किया। And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services, Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunications, to kindly address on India's strategy to provide further impetus to local manufacturing and innovation. Let's put our hands together to welcome our guest of honor.
हमारे अत्यंत लोकप्रिय एवं यशस्वी ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट फॉर कम्युनिकेशन परम आदरणीय श्री देवू सिंह चौहान साहब, जनरल सेक्रेटरी मिस्टर कोंडो, डायरेक्टर मिस्टर नॉमन, भाटिया साहब, गोयल साहब, शाह जी, संजीव शर्मा जी, और यहाँ उपस्थित आप सभी लोगों को मेरा अभिवादन, ग्रीटिंग्स। आज का जो टॉपिक है कि हाउ इंडिया इज गोइंग टू प्रमोट लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, द टॉपिक गिवन टू अस इन दिस पैनल इज कि हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू promote local manufacturing and design and promote the telecom. I'll touch only 5 points, that too discreetly and very briefly. We in the India have already launched 2 very, very popular schemes called PLI schemes and DLI scheme. In the PLI scheme, it is productivity linked. Support is given by the government. Targets are given, they are monitored. Revenue targets are given, facilitation is given. And in the DLI scheme, we promote the design, the R&D design in the country and the production. We can go into detail of these 2 schemes also, but that is the first point I want to mention, that to promote the local manufacturing, Indian government has come out with the two schemes. Now, further, when a product is made, it requires testing for security, testing for standardization, and I am very happy to say that with the blessings of the ministers, we have removed all the testing fees required for the testing of the equipment. They have been brought down to minimal, and most of the cases they have been removed. Nevertheless, we have our TEC center, we have our NCCS, where we are doing the standardization work and providing the support to the local manufacturing. Anyone can come and they can visit and they can offer their products for testing. They can refer to our libraries, they can refer to our repertoire, and I am very happy to share with the Minister Sahab and all the August gathering here that we are planning to open the IEEE chapter very soon in this country. Now, opening of the IEEE chapter will further promote the standardization and the testing and the high level stuff and the promotion of the research papers, publication of the research papers. In yesterday's conference in the evening when I came, I just mentioned that we are also thinking, if our blessings are, the blessings of the Honorable Ministers are received, we are also thinking to promote the publishing of the papers in the reputed journals of the IEEE and other technical journals, so that the research can be promoted. Now, when the local manufacturing comes, we had a roundtable conference 3 days back, in which Honorable MOC was also present. It was a roundtable of the local manufacturers, local producers, TSPs, ISPs, and the DOT officers. And one thing came out very prominently was that the local manufacturing is not able to compete because certain geographies of the world dump their equipment at much cheaper cost by circumventing certain laws. I don't want to name the geographies, but you must have known, you must have understood which are those geographies who are dumping their equipment and dumping their PCBs at much cheaper cost, and local manufacturing units, they find it uncommercial, unviable to compete with them. Coupled with this is another problem that the semiconductor supply, the supply of the chipsets is also barred. If not barred, delayed. If not delayed, the timelines are given in the years, 52 weeks, 60 weeks. So what Indian government is doing for this? In the roundtable conference, the idea came that there should be a task force. This task force should involve industry and the telecom officers, and this task force should call the global chief CEOs and find out why such long timelines are given to Indian manufacturers. We will have to call, this task force has been proposed yesterday. 2-3 people have been taken from the industry. Some officers have been taken from the DOT. Now we shall be talking, we shall be taking the help of our ministers, if required, Minister of External Affairs, and we will talk to these CEOs so that the local manufacturers, the Indian manufacturing, does not suffer from the long, delayed 52 weeks, 60 weeks timelines. And also we will engage with the customs to impose certain bans so that the Indian manufacturing is supported. Indian manufacturing will be supported only when those items which should enter country after paying custom duty, they should pay custom duty, and it should not enter by simply saying that it is a customer premises equipment. You must be knowing, you are all experts, you are all from telecom domain, that certain things do not attract custom duty when it is declared as a customer premises equipment, like a small modem and all. But sometimes, under the garb of customer premises equipment, certain high technical equipments are also being sent. So to support Indian manufacturing, we shall be plugging this hole also. We shall be talking to customs and introducing some more HSPN codes so that such equipment does not come under the garb of customer premises equipment. This is the second thing. Third thing is, we cannot expect any and every and even a small manufacturer to do and invest in the research. Okay? Then who will do the research? माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का सपना है, माननीय मंत्री जी का सपना है कि इंडिया आत्मनिर्भर बने. India should become self-reliant. India should manufacture technology. India should export technology. Now who will do the research? So we have the research also. We have the CDOT. We have the IITs. We have engagement with the IITs. The DOT, with the blessings of our minister, has actively engaged all the IITs of the country and has actively supported the local research in its own institute, CDOT. Now, today, IIT Madras is working on 5G RAN, IIT Kanpur is working on cyber security, IIT Bombay is working on telecom equipment, IIT Delhi has been engaged, CDOT has been given 500 crores towards research, and we are promoting research by active engagement of the academia. Now we will take it further by engaging chapters like ITU-APT, chapters like IEEE, and more engagement will be done so that the local manufacturing is not substandard. It is of high quality. It is of that quality that it attracts the international market. Our focus is that we should start exporting 4G technology and the 4G related equipment manufactured in India. This is the vision. Nation first, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Technology and products made in India, supported by India. Not through R&D, through manufacturing, through import of the equipment, import of the chipsets. So these are all the, now to give a 360 view, I will touch upon that we also want to promote the ease of doing business. हमारे मंत्री जी ने कहा, बहुत ही अच्छा बताया कि हम लोगों ने पिछले 1 साल के अंदर बहुत सारे ईज ऑफ रिफॉर्म्स लेकर आए हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, फॉर टेस्टिंग ऑफ इक्विपमेंट आपको 6,000 रुपए की फीस जमा करनी है, लेकिन 6,000 रुपए की फीस जमा करने के लिए आपको 60 बार चक्कर लगाने पड़ेंगे. फॉर्म भरो, गलती हो जाएगी, XYZ. So what is the point in getting that 6,000 rupees? Better remove that. And we have removed it. There is no point, sir, in earning that 6,000 rupees, which is equivalent to some $100, which it is wasting more time and more effort. So we have removed. Many such things have been done. Ease of business has been promoted. And last but not the least, I will not take much of your time, ट्रांसपेरेंसी. हमने MTCT पोर्टल बनाया, TC पोर्टल बनाया, इतने सारे पोर्टल बना दिए हैं कि now you apply and you get the result within 10 days, get the result within 7 days. Ease of doing business has been promoted. लोगों को काम करने में आसानी हो, मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को काम करने में आसानी हो, सिंगल विंडो कंसेप्ट हो, सिंगल पॉइंट ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट हो. हमने ये सारी चीजें की. और इंडियन मोबाइल कांग्रेस अक्टूबर में जो किया, उसमें हम लोगों ने उन लोगों को, छोटे मैन्युफैक्चरर, बड़े मैन्युफैक्चरर, सबको 256 लोग आए उसमें, जिन्होंने अपने स्टॉल लगाए, अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, अपना प्रोडक्ट लोगों को दिखाया. और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि इंडियन मोबाइल कांग्रेस में जो विजिटर्स की संख्या थी वो 4 लाख से ज्यादा थी. एंड द थर्स्ट केम व्हेन द ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर हिमसेल्फ केम. यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्वयं आकर कहा कि सारे मिनिस्ट्री के ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी लेवल तक के ऑफिसर सबको मिलके आना है, सबको देख के आना है. तो सारे प्रोडक्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के जो लोगों ने बनाए, टेक्नोलॉजी, इनोवेशंस, छोटी छोटी चीजें, बड़ी बड़ी चीजें, इंडियन मोबाइल कांग्रेस में लोगों को एक प्लेटफॉर्म भी हमने प्रोवाइड किया, मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को भी प्रोवाइड किया, ताकि वो अपनी चीजें लोगों को दिखा सके और लोगों के साथ 256 लोगों के साथ नेटवर्किंग कर सके और 4 लाख लोगों का दिमाग अट्रैक्ट कर सके फॉर 4 days. Very soon we shall be planning more such conferences. I will not take much of your time. Thank you for patiently listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that insightful address from you, our guest of honor, Dr. Mahesh Shukla ji. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege in inviting. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we move ahead, we would like to once again thank our Honorable Chief Guest, the Honorable Minister, for sparing his valuable time and being here with us. And we now present a small memento to him. I would request Shri Bharat Bhatia ji to kindly do the honors. Thank you once again, sir, for being here with us today. Can we have a group photograph before the Honorable Minister leaves? Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Masanori Kondo, Secretary General Asia Pacific Telecommunity. He is going to address on the role and activities of APT in promoting ICT in Asia Pacific region. Over to you, sir.
And it's my great pleasure to be here once again. And I would like to express my appreciation to IAFI to inviting me to this event, as well as hosting a very nice dinner reception yesterday. So today, I'd like to make a presentation about the role and activity of APT. Yesterday, I actually did a kind of similar presentation, but I focused on the field of spectrum management. So today's presentation will cover the overall picture of APT itself. So fortunately, yesterday I got several questions about APT, what APT is doing, and what is the function of APT, and so on. So I think today's presentation will provide sufficient information about APT. So this presentation will cover what is APT as well as the role of APT. So first, APT. What is APT? I think, okay. So APT covers this map. From westbound, it is up to Iran, and to the north, up to Mongolia, then down to Australia, New Zealand, and to eastbound, it's up to Cook Island. So it covers in total 38 member countries, and in addition to that, actually these are the national flag of 38 member countries. And also we have so-called affiliate members, which are private sectors, sometimes universities, academia. So for instance, Alan from Meta, thank you for being APT members, and they are very contributing to the work of APT very much. So APT is the only intergovernmental organization in the field of ICT in this region based on the treaty among member countries and established in 1979. And the functions are, I explain in this way, two points. One is consolidate regional voice, and second is support ICT development in the region. So maybe you may wonder, what is a consolidate regional voice? As an example, ITU is a good example how we consolidate our regional voice. We provide a platform for our members to consolidate so-called regional voice, which will be submitted as an APT common proposal to ITU conferences, such as WRC, PP, WTDC, or WTSA. And in addition, of course, ITU is not the only international organization we collaborate. So we also collaborate for like a UN. And in the future, we may consider, or we may work together based on the needs and the requirements from members to consolidate so-called regional voice, maybe submitted or proposed or to be shared at like a G20 or G7 or maybe ICANN or IGF. So if you look at the APT from the category, from the aspect of category of activities, we have three: meetings, forum, workshop, this kind of things, or capacity building program, and pilot project. And if you look at the, from the aspect of the field of activities, we have policy and regulation activities, as well as radio communication or spectrum management, which I introduced yesterday, and standardization and development, and capacity building. So if you focus on the, for instance, this conference is about spectrum management, so I just put a color for the activities of APT, which relates to spectrum management. So let's move on to the role and activities of APT. Yesterday, I very briefly mentioned about our strategic plan. But actually, as an APT, strategic plan is a kind of rigid document or instrument to which our activities or budget allocation should be in line with. But in addition to that, we organize a so-called ministerial meeting by which ministers get together and they discuss the kind of direction and share their insights as a ministerial statement. So currently, we organized the ministerial meeting back in 2019 in Singapore, and we have so-called Singapore statement in that level. So ministerial statement, Singapore statement, there are five pillars or themes. Like as you see, digital transformation, innovation, creativity, or digital community, and so on. So again, this is not very in detail action plans types of description or documents, but rather provide insight and direction as a community. So APT, T stands for telecommunity. So we are the community, and this ministerial statement provides direction as a community. Then strategic plan. We have 5 pillars under strategic plan. Current strategic plan is from 2021 to 2023 for 3 years. And during these 3 years, our activities are based on this strategic plan, which was formulated back in 2020. So each pillar has actually action plans. So yesterday I mentioned about the spectrum management related actions, which mainly related to the number 1 pillars and number 2 pillars, which are connectivity and innovation. Then besides like a consolidated regional voice, the colored part are related to ICT development in this region. So we are conducting you see this structure, then you can identify in the field of spectrum management or standardization or policy and regulatory discussions among members. Then we also have a capacity building, and the capacity building is actually one of the most important activities and also one of the most required and demanded by the members. So this is just example of the training courses which relate to spectrum management. But every year we organize around 20 to 30 training courses in India, China, Japan, Korea, Thailand, and in other countries or in member countries based on their requirements. We also have a project. A project is we, as a so-called APT normal budget, we don't have a specific budget for the pilot project, but we have extra budgetary contribution from Australia, China, Japan, and Korea, South Korea. And so by using these extra budgetary contribution, those donor countries will earmark the pilot project based on the requirement or request from our members, what kind of pilot projects they may want, they may launch. So after APT Secretariat will coordinate those needs and the kind of supply from donor countries to get together and do the matching between needs and the supply. So those are the way how we conduct the APT pilot project. So with this, I think you may have still many questions about APT, so I will be available anytime to answer your question, and I would like to see in the future, maybe, we may have like a EBCI, extra budgetary contribution from India. By using that, we may implement some specific project or training courses and so on, so that we can expand and strengthen the collaboration between India and APT. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the special keynote address, I have the proud privilege in inviting Shri Sanjeev Sharma, DDG and OSD, to Minister of State for Communications. And today he is going to address on India's strategy to enable 5G for fixed wireless broadband for tackling the digital divide and connecting the unconnected. So let's put our hands together and welcome our special keynote speaker.
Thank you. Dignitaries on the dais and dignitaries of the dais. Today, topic of digital divide and using 5G for digital divide is very, very important. So there are several socio-economic aspects related to the digital divide. And I have been working with the Honorable Minister of State for Communications for last 1.5 years. Earlier also I had benefit of association with the earlier minister also. So one thing which has been bothering the government of India is the digital divide. Now when we speak of digital divide, this word actually assumes much more significance so far as the developing country is concerned, or the least developing country is concerned, because the socio-economic aspect which I mentioned in the beginning makes an enormous difference in the lives of the people living at the far-flung area. It does make difference in the economy as well. So there are studies which suggest there will be this much increase in the GDP, if X percentage of growth happens in digital connectivity, then GDP increases by that. So not going much into these aspects, but these are very, very important aspects. So as I was saying, since I'm working with the government of India and the government is very worried about the digital divide. Now, what is the amount of digital divide? What is the quantum of digital divide that exists in India? Since I'm working with government of India, So I'm focusing my presentation only what is happening in India. So we'll begin with this. Let us assess what is the situation on ground. So India, as you know, is a great country. It's a populous country. We have 1.4 billion citizens. We have more than 640,000 villages. So this is a number which, when we were formalizing a particular scheme, so we wanted to know how many villages are there. So various sources, survey and all, it indicates that we have actually 644,000 villages. Now, how many villages do not have mobile coverage? No mobile coverage whatsoever. 39,000 villages do not have mobile coverage. Now, there are 6,200 villages are there which have 3G and 2G services. So as you know, 2G and 3G services, they do not provide much of the data facilities to the customers. So there are total 45,200 villages. So more than 45,000 villages do not have, either do not have the mobile communication at all, or have mobile communications but data is not sufficient. So working on this, so there are some private telecom service providers or various circuit service telecom service providers who will be providing connections to, providing mobile services to these villages. So government came upon the number that is 31,000 villages. So 31,000 villages, for 31,000 villages, including those do not have mobile services at all, and also those villages which have only 2G or 3G services, those will be replaced or will be provided with a 4G mobile tower, and the package is $3 billion. This is something which has been announced, the Government of India, and the Department of Telecommunication is working very, very vigorously on this. And the target that we have set for ourselves is by December 2023, all the villages will be covered with the 4G services at least. Now the second thing which the Government of India, the Department of Telecommunication is doing to bridge the digital divide is extending the optical fiber. So one, as I begin in the beginning, providing the 4G services to all the villages. Second, we are also laying the optical fiber. Now, as I said, India is a big country with 640,000 villages. Optical fiber extension is happening. So far, we have connected 180,000 villages with the optical fiber. So how do we go back? No, I want to go back. Okay. Yeah, so what we also did, so the third thing which we did to address the digital divide, we wanted to execute a pilot project. And for the pilot project, what we wanted to do is, suppose I have brought a fiber to a village, and from village to the next village, we need to lay the fiber. But that takes time, that takes capital investment. And we wanted to do something which can be done at the earliest and without taking much of time. So we went for using a wireless technology. So a 5 gigahertz P2P link was used to connect between the two villages. So I have a village, I'll just show what we are doing. Yeah, so this is it. A fiber has come to that village. So we say saying Gram Panchayat, so fiber has come to that place. However, there are 5 villages, village 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actual, this is not something which has not actually happened on the ground. So this particular site was chosen in a province called Maharashtra in India. And there's a place called Akola where we have actually implemented this project. So from Gram Panchayat, from a village which has fiber, we have taken 5 P2P link, 5 gigahertz P2P link to these 5 villages. So these 5 villages are connected through P2P link. And then within the villages, we use hotspot so that the Wi-Fi signal is available to the villagers. So any villager who is working in his field will also have a Wi-Fi signal. So because extending merely fiber to a household will not serve the purpose. There are many who would not like to have FTTH. They would like to use Wi-Fi signal. So this is the model which we have already implemented. Let me show you the result of this, what actually happened. So this table is showing throughput, what the throughput is coming. So let's not look at the other data, but kindly look at the last column, second last column where throughput is given. So the throughput that we are achieving with P2P link is 321 Mbps. So if you look at that column, you see that throughput varies from 100 Mbps to 321 Mbps. So after having discussed about the three ways of addressing the digital divide, providing the mobile services in the villages, extending the optical fiber, and also using this pilot project, so there are limitations. So what are the challenges to address the digital divide? So first challenge is, even if we provide the mobile coverage, it may be good for the voice, however, the requisite data speed may not happen. Now, I'll go a little technical over here. The definition of coverage which we are using, I mean, there is a definition. When we say a village is covered, so there is a definition. I say a particular level, a particular strength of the signal is available on the ground, then we say it is covered. So earlier it was minus 125 dBm. We then improved it. We brought it to 110 dBm. Even with 110 dBm, so if its signal is around 100 or 90 dBm, then the data speed is good. Otherwise, if 100 and 110 dBm, so data speed would be there, but will not be sufficient. So this is one challenge with the first project which I told you. Now OFC, we said we are laying down the OFC also, but the OFC, as you know, is a time consuming, and we have covered 180,000 villages at this point in time. A lot of villages are to be covered. Now the last wireless solution, you can see the table which I showed you, the throughput is not enough. Once there are 15, 20, 50 villagers latching onto the network, every villager getting the bandwidth would be much less. So these are the three challenges. So having gone through all this, so what is the next solution? So fortunately 5G has come, and 5G provides us certain benefits over what we have already done. So now there is millimeter wave over 6 gigahertz, which provides a good speed for the FWA. Even sub 6 gigahertz provides you a great speed. Now 5G can provide 10 to 100 times more capacity than 4G, and it is akin to speed, almost akin to the speed which optical fiber is providing, and also it's quite cost effective. So the challenges which I listed in the previous slide are more or less addressed by 5G fixed wireless access. So these are the two variants which we can use for this. I'll not delve too much into it. Since I'm talking of digital divide from the rural perspective, sub-6G, if you look at this, sub-6 CPE, they work up to 15 kilometers from BTS, and the speed is 1 Gbps per CPE. So this is a good solution, and then they can work on line of sight and non-line of sight as well. This is a little schematic which I have gone through. I'll quickly skip this. Let's look at the benefits over the conventional solutions. As I have already touched upon this, lower rollout cost, lower OPEX, ROW issues are not there, mass deployment can be done in a very short span of time. These are all benefits which we are looking, since we are a country, which are a huge country, a lot of villages are to be covered. So for us, this is going to be a very, very good solution. Let's look at the demand estimation. What is the demand estimation at this point in time? Right now, the broadband penetration at this point in time is not there in 2020. However, if you look at 2030, We are going to have 21% broadband access through 5G fixed wireless access. If you look at the left-hand side, if you look at the FWA devices in millions, which will be utilized, you can see it is going to be 46 million in 2025. So because of the benefits which 5G FWA is providing, this is something which is going to happen very, very fast. The rollout is going to be very fast. And India, particularly those who are in the government, we are bothered, the policy makers, we are bothered with the digital divide. As I said, the Honorable Prime Minister has been very, very particular because of the fact, my Honorable Minister was mentioning the philosophy of Antodaya, where we said that we'll reach to the last person. And reaching to the last person means you need to provide him the connectivity. And there is a lot of potential that exists. I'll give you one live example of this. So in one of the places, it's a small village in Gujarat, where a new tower was installed around 2 months back. Honorable Minister went there because there was some inauguration. And when we were inquiring about a small village, what is happening with this tower, how much people are using, you will be surprised to know, during peak hour means where the traffic is maximum, during peak hour, they were making 1,600 calls and they were consuming 20 GB data. That's a small village in rural area of Gujarat. So this is the potential, and this government very much realized, and that is why 5G fixed wireless access is going to be a great solution for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, I once again take this privilege and opportunity to thank our guest of honor, Dr. Mahesh Shukla ji, for sparing his valuable time, gracing this occasion, and his motivating address, which will give a boost to the local manufacturers and innovators. And as Sir has to leave for another pressing commitment, I would request Shri Bharat Bhatia to kindly present and honor him with a memento, a small token of gratitude. Thank you once again, sir, for being here with us. Your presence has indeed been very motivating. I now have the privilege in inviting Mr. Alan Norman, he is Director Public Policy Meta, to kindly address on maximizing the socio-economic benefits of the 6 GHz band. Let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Norman.
I want to thank my distinguished panelists, IFI, Mr. Bhatia, and all of you for the opportunity to speak today. And I really appreciate all the excellent presentations, especially the one we just heard on addressing the digital divide, which is not only a problem in India, but it's a problem everywhere around the world, especially in the United States as well, where I come from. I know that there was a lot of focus on WRC yesterday in the conversations around what to do in terms of preparation for the conference, and in particular the 6 GHz band. I know there's also a lot of thoughts about Wi-Fi and how it can help bridge the connectivity gap. And I would like to observe that almost every device that you connect with at the very end of the link, when you're in any fixed location like a village or like an office or a home, you're going to connect on Wi-Fi. And so investing in that is very important. This afternoon, I'll be speaking about 6 GHz and the metaverse. And I want to make the point that it's not about IMT versus unlicensed. It's an opportunity to really embrace what I think is one of the next very important digital transformations that are going to happen around technology. There's a whole new wave of innovation happening around this band in terms of new use cases, immersive technologies, XR, namely augmented reality and virtual reality, that I think are going to create opportunities for everybody. And I think especially in India, there are a lot of resources here where there's a very unique opportunity. You have fantastic resources in software development, in content development, and the ability to design new devices. There's also a whole opportunity around improving broadband. So this afternoon, I hope that you'll be here to hear what I have to say about what that band can offer, what the metaverse is, and how it can really offer huge economic opportunity for India. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Dr. Hemang Shah, Director Engineering, Qualcomm India Private Limited, to address on the role of Indian startups in 5G and beyond. And over to you, sir. Let's put our hands together to welcome Dr. Shah.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And thank you to all the esteemed members on the dais. I had the pleasure and privilege of being inspired by all of you. And I think to everyone here, I wanted to share just this exciting space that I've been fortunate to be a part of, which is in working with Indian startups. I'm sorry, can we? Now, as Qualcomm, we are working on various levels of the ecosystem, right from initiatives which work at the bottom of the pyramid. I'm sorry, the slides are auto-advancing. If you go back just one slide. Yeah. Sure. I'll just request you to change slides. And green is or laser ke liye? Yeah. I think this is fine. We can leave this here, and we'll get it done. Sure. So we've been fortunate to work at all levels, right from enabling folks at the bottom of the pyramid using wireless technologies, to guiding them on aspects which will help them in their careers, whether it's through intellectual property or it's understanding, and being up to speed with the latest advances in communications tech, working with research and academia. In this section today, I'll particularly focus on the startup initiatives where we have 3 programs. The first one works on hardware IoT startups. We have a program for early stage women-founded tech startups. And very recently, we announced the Qualcomm Semiconductor Mentorship Program. This is to work with startups that are doing work in the semiconductor design space. We have a corporate ventures team. And yeah, I think the laser is triggering issues. Yeah. So, and of course we have a very seasoned operators. So throughout the entire spectrum, we cover all these things. But when we talk in terms of the impact that we've been able to achieve, and please bear in mind that some of these numbers are for programs which have been there for a few years. Today I'll focus mostly on the bottom left, which is the startup incubation programs. So the program that I'll be spending time on is called the Qualcomm Design in India Challenge, where we have worked with 89 startups. These have been incubated, as a part of our program. They have filed for 300 plus patents of their own. So they are not just creating new products, they are inventing in India. They are raising a good number of funding. The funding is now close to $200 million. We don't track valuation because valuation is a very dynamic number, but the funding that they raise gives you an indication of the belief that the investor ecosystem has in them. And if I include all the other startups, firsthand we work with 100 plus startups in India. And in terms of getting them up to speed on intellectual property, we have trained more than 5,000 plus startups and SMEs on the awareness and the importance of IP rights. But what do these startups look like, right? And again, to give you some idea of how this program was started in the first place, back in 2015, Prime Minister Modi met our Qualcomm chairman and CEO and asked him to support the digital ecosystem in India. And we applied the startup hat ourselves, and we actually have a small startup team within the company itself that I'm fortunate to be a part of. And we said, okay, what does the hardware and the design ecosystem look like? What can we do for them? So we initiated a program which runs them over a 9-month cycle. It's a very deep technical engagement. They get access to state-of-the-art labs. We guide them on their system architecture. The use cases, everything, that's entirely there. So our role is to really be an enabler for them. And the landscape of these startups in India looks like this. So we have a great number of startups that particularly focus on the smart city segment, on the medtech. Medtech talent in India is huge. They are great at spotting problems and they want to fix them. Robotics and drones are, of course, an important area for us, and in the past couple of years particularly, we've seen a good growth in them. And the appetite for all these startups across these verticals is at all levels of a product that you can think of. So not just like small, sensor-based things and just communicate to the cloud, but also something which requires a dedicated NPU for them to solve, real-time navigation, issues. Now, if we turn our lens slightly to the element of 5G and how 5G can enable these startups and vice versa, how can startups take advantage of this? Now, we are all, especially in this room, we are all familiar with the tech advances, but 5G is really going to enable, broadly speaking, 3 different verticals, right? One is on the area of enhanced mobile broadband, where our thirst and requirements for high data throughput is going to be much more than what it is today. We are going to have every devices that we can think of, that will be connected and will be interconnected, right? So you'll have a situation of massive IoT that will always be there. But alongside that, we should not forget the mission critical components. And there'll be elements, there'll be areas where a lot of sensing will be done, and a few of these triggers will need us to act on it on a very time sensitive basis. In terms of application, I think 5G is a true enabler wherein it's not just one industry sector that it will enable. It's going to impact, we just heard about the importance of FWAs and how it can even connect rural areas, how it can, break the digital divide. Mobile compute, XR, and how metaverse can play a role over there, IoT, networks, automotive, many, many areas. So with that lens, we started looking at our startups, we started evangelizing with them. And just an interesting note that at India Mobile Congress, when the 5G was announced live, these startups were also 5G ready. And they demonstrated at the Qualcomm booth on a 5G private network that we had set up over there. The 5 startups that have been working with us, roughly I would say from the beginning of this year, to really be 5G ready on their applications. So starting from the left, we have, I'm sorry, can you go back 2 slides? I'll try not to touch this one. Yeah. I think that's fine. So we have Dhruva Space, which is working on satellite-based IoT solutions. And just about a couple of weeks ago, when end of November, when ISRO launched its latest satellite, Dhruva Space also launched 2 of their own satellites. So they're on a mission to deploy 200 plus low Earth orbit satellites, for various applications. So the product that they are building with us is tracking of basically an IoT tracker, which of course has terrestrial capability with 5G, but it also has a satellite fallback. So no matter what, you can always keep track of your assets, no matter where it is in the world. We have Nimble Vision, which is building solutions for water and sewage monitoring. Chinnaya, who is the founder, his mission is to enable every place that has a water tank, right from your home, which has this yellow Syntex tank, to something which is working at the city or municipal level. right? So they want to connect and make sure how we are using our water, what the quality is, what the flow is, for both personal usage, but also for the municipal corporations to determine, how to distribute water to all of us. We have Light Metrics, which is building solutions for, truck fleet operations. So not just for things where, they guide the drivers, but also even outside, that as the truck is navigating around different scenarios, what kind of traffic signs are available to them, what they are missing. So the truck fleet person can also guide the drivers, but also, interestingly, even to help the drivers, because there are so many accidents where they get involved, and usually, we tend to say it's always the truck driver's mistake. So their real-time, video analytics solution helps absolve, who's really at fault. We have Ajna Lens, which is building an XR solution for the purposes of skilling. So the product which they demonstrated at India Mobile Congress was a person who's spray painting. So let's say you have an automobile factory and someone you need to train all these workers on spray paint guns. So they modify the actual certified spray paint guns with their virtual reality ecosystem. And that gives you, real-time usage. And imagine the benefits of that if you use it. You're wasting less chemicals. You can spend as much time as you want to become proficient at it. So they are deploying this with ITI institutes, training 18,000 plus, potential workers for the country and more. Finally, we have Yogify, which is building smart yoga mats, where they want to tell you how you are performing on every asana, doing it real time, both using sensors on the mat, but also a computer vision element, which will track your pose, determine how stable you are in holding that pose. All these applications require different elements of whether it's downlink, uplink, whether they want really low latency right now. So it's amazing to see that we have these 5G ready products already existing in the country, and there'll be a lot more. But how do we get there? To truly enable them, we have a state-of-the-art lab at our Bangalore facility. It's called the Qualcomm Innovation Lab. So right from choosing the platform on which they can build to working on protocol analyzers. We have a few call boxes that allow them to deploy things at the use case level. So we have call boxes which simulate that. We have both provisions for a local server as well as an connection to the cloud. So whether they want a fully private network use case, they can determine that, they can fine-tune it. And by the way, our lab is also set up for TEC's MTCTE guidelines. So if anyone wants to determine, before they go for a certification agency, how they will perform, how they should fine-tune their applications, we are fully set up for that. And some of you in the room, I'm aware, have also had the privilege of discussing with us, and we've also hosted a couple of TEC leaders to take a look at this in person. Now the key element, and this is really a call to action to all of us. If, let's say, a single initiative, from our side could lead to these 89 plus startups that are developing these exciting solutions. Imagine what we all can do together as an ecosystem. The startups, they have the vision, they have the passion, but what they lack are different elements, whether it's on the technical side, whether it's on the business side. So all of us have a role to play. So we try to play the role of enabling them on the technical side, on guiding them on their IPR aspects, and now they are onto a journey of their own. A gentle nudge from our side and they can run miles. So if we all come together as industry, as academia, as government, we can do wonders for them. So that's a simple call to action, and I'm happy to discuss more about these startups as and when required. Thank you all for having me here, and thank you to IAFI for organizing this.
Thank you very much indeed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to propose the vote of thanks, may I invite Shri N.K. Goel, Vice Chair, IAFI.
Honorable Ministers and Mahesh Shukla, Member Service in absentia, Sanjeev Sharma ji here, Bhatia ji, Mr. Hemant Saha, we just heard, Alan Norman, and Mr. Kondo. I want to break the protocol or rules. Let me first compliment Sanjeev Sharma ji. For the first time, I have seen an officer of the government at the level of Joint Secretary to give the presentation on digital divide. First time. Very precise, very correct, not only difficulties but the solutions also. And you have done marvelous things, I know, and you are guiding also. So my thanks to you and compliments to you for that. And when we come to thanking Minister in his absence, you know the magic which was done in Romania. Minister was there, but support behind him was Sanjeev Sharma ji. For the first time, as you know, India achieved so much of voting in the ITU, which is unprecedented in 75 years. So credit goes to Minister and support given by you all there. And because I represent Telecom Equipment Manufacturing Association also and IFI also, the 5G domestic stake which we now say proudly India has, who was after that? It is a minister's office and Sharma ji personally talking to each and every 10-15 companies, bringing them together, guiding them, and very unusual thing, first time, arranging demonstration in the Sanchar Bhavan, Ministry of Communication on the top floor, where every top officer of the government of railways or defense or security office, they came up there. So this is the contribution they are having. Local manufacturing is close to their hearts. And 5G launch, in fact, our minister naturally talked of the DOT officers as a whole. But how many of us know that almost every day there was a meeting in the office of Minister of State? Every day. So with this, I would also like to thank Mr. Kondo, Secretary General APT here. ITU, our association IFI is quite close to you, and your being here brings us lots of laurels and lots of knowledge sharing with us. Mr. Hemant Saha, you spoke very nicely about the startups and Qualcomm role. And we had Mr. Alan Norman, Meta, known for digital divide, digital India. And let me also take the privilege of thanking Mr. Bhatia, our own president, because in the last 2-3 years, he has changed the IFI totally. Attending almost all meetings everywhere in ITU and APT, bringing all stakeholders together, something marvelous. I would like to clap for Bhatia. And I can't complete my vote of thanks unless I thank the entire team of IFI. We have Gupta ji here, Rakesh here, Soni Saab, everybody. I think Mr. Dua is here or not, I'm not able to see. And all of you, he is here. So Mr. Dua, our chairman, Mr. Pruvar, everybody, all the team, and all of you who are the important stakeholders for this thing. Thanks a lot, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. I would request Shri N.K. Goel to kindly do the honors of presenting a token of gratitude, a memento to our eminent dignitaries. We present to Shri Sanjeev Sharma, DDG and OSD, to Minister of State for Communications. Thank you, sir, once again for being here with us today and for that motivating address from you. We thank and honor Mr. Alan Norman, Director Public Policy, Meta. Thank you very much indeed. And we also thank and honor Dr. Hemang Shah, Director Engineering, Qualcomm India Private Limited. Thank you. And may we have a group photograph before we close this session. So ladies and gentlemen, with that, we now have come to the end of the first session of day 2 of the Second India Spectrum Management Conference. We will now break for tea and coffee. The tea break will be of 15 minutes. We will begin with the proceedings of the next session at 11:15 sharp. I would request